it's heavy. Having one pile of really heavy books to pick up is hard enough, but having two is just like, ugh. My wrists, I need to work on my wrist muscles. So this month I read a total of 7 books and started an 8th, 4 of which I read during a week for the Bound of Books 9.0 read-a-thon. I haven't read this many books in a month in quite a while actually. I've been in sort of a slump. Just reading for me has been really slow recently, so thanks to the read-a-thon, things have been kind of picking up again, so I'm really happy about that. Now let's get on to what I read. Firstly, we have Roverandom by J.R.R. Tolkien. This was such a fun, adorable read. After his son lost his toy dog on vacation, Tolkien wrote a story about this dog and the adventures that he must have gone on. At the beginning of the book there is also an introduction, and it was really interesting kind of getting to know a little bit more about the backstory of this story as a whole and also some of Tolkien's other works. So overall I really enjoyed this one. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. Next we have The Dark Hills Divide by Patrick Carman, and this ticks off one of my books on the list for the TBR challenge that I'm doing this year. I'm challenging myself to read a few books that have been sitting on my shelf for at least 2 years, and this one is probably one of the oldest ones. It's been sitting there for years and years, and I finally picked it up and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Another 4 out of 5 stars to this one. It was so much fun. I can't believe I waited so long to read it, but thankfully I have the next few in this series so I can continue on with it. I also have The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. This was my first book that I've ever read by Neil Gaiman and I adored it. 5 out of 5 stars. I have filmed a review of this one which I should be putting up fairly soon, and yeah, it was so much fun. I read this actually with one of my friends, Dylan from Dylan's Books. It was a lot of fun reading this alongside him and kind of throwing ideas back and forth, so yeah. Definitely recommend this one. It was amazing. I also read Aeon Antigona by Alison Goodman. This is the Aeon duology and it was fantastic. I have already filmed and uploaded a review of these 2 books, which I will link down below. Don't worry, it is spoiler free, but basically I gave 4.5 stars to Aeon and 4 stars to Iona. It was so much fun, loved the fantastical elements and the world it was set in. It was just amazing. Thoroughly enjoyed these. And lastly we have Ruby Red, Sapphire Blue and Emerald Green by Kirsten Gier. I'm only partway through this one, but the first 2 books I have finished reading. I have not rated these books just yet. I feel like I need to read the trilogy as a whole because the stories flow from one to the next, so I am really excited to finish this series and see how it all ends, and I'll probably do a review of this as well. So those are the books that I read in January, and now on to February. Firstly, a few booktubers have come together and created this thing called a year-a-thon. It's pretty much 11 different themed read-a-thons that are taking place during every month for the rest of this year. I will leave links down below so you can find out more about the year-a-thon and what different topics there are during the months, but for February it is Harry Potter, which is why I have these books on my TBR for February. This is the first 4 books in the Harry Potter series. If you don't know what they are, it's Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, and Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Between reading each of these books, I'll probably be watching the movies as well. So far, I've only set the first 4 books to be my goal for the month, but if I do get through those ones, I will definitely be continuing on with the series. But I'm also hoping to read The Furies of Calderon by Jim Butcher, and I'm hoping to read this one alongside Read Susie Read. We haven't really set a date of when we're intending to read this book, but I'm assuming it's going to be pretty soon, so I'm just going to include it in this TBR. I'm super excited to read with Susie. It's going to be so much fun. I don't know pretty much anything about this series. Susie said that Reagan from Peru's Project has raved about this one and loves it, so that's always a plus, but it's a fantasy one and these people have these things called Furies, which are kind of magical powers to do with the elements like air, earth, water, fire, metal, and then there's war and stuff and someone saves the day, I'm assuming. I'm hoping. That would be nice. And that is all. That is all that I have for this video. And I'd love to know what your favourite book was that you read in January. My one was The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman, so feel free to share your favourites down below. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!